So the Outlander is a compact crossover SUV made by Mitsubishi. The funny thing about this 4th generation Outlander is that it's actually on the Rogue platform from Nissan. So there are things that are definitely just Mitsubishi and there are things that are shared with Nissan. But the cool thing is that this is one of the best Outlanders I've driven. It's also a 3-row, which the Rogue is not, and it's not for a reason because it is a compact crossover. So you're not seeing a lot of compact crossovers with a 3rd row, and there's a good reason for that. We'll get into that as we jump inside. But let's go ahead and kick off the review looking at the trims offered here. Then we'll take a look at the exterior design, the trunk, the engine, the interior. Then we'll take it for a drive and wrap it up with some price competition talk and some of my final thoughts. Let's get into it. All right, and quickly talking about the trims, you have the SE, the ES, the Black Edition, the SEL, and the SEL Special Edition. All trims are available in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, which Mitsubishi's all-wheel drive system is Super all-wheel control. So this does have Mitsubishi's all-wheel drive system. What we're driving here is the SEL with the all-wheel drive system. All right, and let's take a look at this exterior design. It is definitely an all-new design, but still screams Mitsubishi, especially with that front grille. The overall design is wider with a more muscular stance to kind of exude confidence. The color that we're rocking here is the Mercury Gray Metallic, which looks decent here. We do have the LED headlights, and Mitsubishi says they're strategically positioned both high and low to provide improved recognition from other drivers while offering better lighting across long distances. And you have this full stacked look with the top daytime running light, and then you have the 3 stack actual headlights and then the fog lights at the bottom. Along the side, we do have the door ground illumination. So when you open up the door, you can see the Mitsubishi logo there. It is color, it looks pretty cool. Our side mirrors are power folding and we do have the LED turn signals integrated there. Our wheels are 20-inch wheels. They are 2-tone alloy. We also do have a capless fuel filler, which is always nice. And then looking at the rear, you have the high stability rear lights with T-shaped ends. It helps give the rear end a wide looking stance. Obviously we've got the Outlander badge on the driver's side and the SEL badge there on the passenger side. We have no visible exhaust ports on the Outlander, but you do get a nice rear fascia. And before we pop that hatch, let's quickly talk about the dimensions here. Like I said, it is a compact crossover, but it is a 3-row. So your total length is 185.4 inches and your total height is 68.8 inches. All right, and we do have a power lifting rear hatch. Hit a button back here, it will power lift. And again, being a compact crossover with a 3rd row, there's not a ton of space back here. You can see our camera equipment just barely fits. A big grocery getting session would barely fit. You do have a little cubby here that can lift up, but there's really not much space down there. Total cargo volume behind this 3rd row is 11.7 cubic feet, so that's pretty small. Smaller than most trunks in a compact sedan. You can fold that 3rd row down, which will increase your cargo volume to 33.5 cubic feet, which is much more respectable for the class. And then of course you can fold down the 2nd row and you get a total cargo volume of 79.7 cubic feet. With that, let's go ahead and close this back up and we'll check out what's under the hood powering the Outlander. All right guys, and there's nothing too impressive here going on under the hood. We do have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine pushing 181 horsepower, 181 foot-pounds of torque, and it is matched up to a CVT transmission. We do have a standard towing capacity of 2,000 pounds, which is always nice. But if you're looking for power, agility, things like that, this really isn't delivering it. We'll talk more about that as we take it for a drive. But before we can do that, let's jump inside, take a look at the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. All right, guys, and before we jump into any other part of the interior, let's take a look at these rear seats. And first off, let's take a look at that third row. So you do have a handle up here to pull down, and that thing will slide forward. And you can see here, there is basically no room for feet or legs. With the third row up, I'm not even going to attempt to get back there. They are better looking seats. The older Outlanders had more of a jump seat kind of thing. It was cloth and folded out really awkwardly. These actually look better as far as seats go, but again, there is absolutely no room for feet or legs back here. You might as well be throwing somebody in the back of a 911. So instead of jumping back there, let's jump into this front row. All right, so we are here in the second row seating, and it's a nice place to be. It feels a bit tighter than the previous generations of Outlander. Feels like this is a bit of a smaller vehicle. That being said, I fit back here just fine. I have plenty of knee room, plenty of headroom. We also have our own vents here. We have our own heated seats back here and our own climate control. We also have USB-C charging hookups back here. Another cool feature that the kids liked were these pockets back here for the, you could slide your phone in or something else. That's pretty cool. I do like that too. And of course you have a pocket here as well. So ergonomical wise, this is a nice place to be, but of course, let's jump into the front seats, check out the driver's seat, the rest of the interior and tech in this car. All right, guys, we're here in the front seats. First off, the interior is really nice in this thing. This is the SEL trim. We do have the black interior, and we have this like brown stitching, as well as some brown leather accents. Let's go ahead and dive into the interior, how it looks, and the tech in here. Let's go ahead and first kick this thing on. It is a push button start. Let's get some air circulation in the sucker. All right, and first off, we do have this nice large 9-inch touchscreen display. We do have a decent menu system, nice and simple, nothing too flashy here, but you do have wireless Apple CarPlay. You also have Android Auto connections. So it's a nice modern system, which you would expect from a vehicle like this. Moving down a bit, you can see that brown leather. You can also see our AC and heat controls here and our heated seats. We also have a heated steering wheel. Down further from that is your USB Type A and USB Type C hookups. This is also a wireless charger for your phone. So you can throw the phone on there and it will stick pretty well. It's a nice rubbery surface and it will wirelessly charge your phone if it is a wirelessly charging phone. Moving down even more, we do have our electronic gear shifter, so a button over here, and push back for drive, push up for reverse. And when we're in reverse, we do have our full 360 camera, nice backup camera, good all around angles, nice and crisp, easy to see stuff. That's always good. We do have our electronic parking brake over here, and this dial here is our terrain management or drive control here. So you do have an eco mode, a normal mode, a tarmac mode, a gravel mode, a snow mode, and a mud mode. And then this button here is a hill descent control mode. For the most part, I've kept it in normal. I have switched it into eco to see how much. It does deaden the throttle and things like that, and it is pretty significant. So unless I'm just really trying to eke out some mileage, I'll keep it on normal. We'll talk more about that as we drive though. We also do have a nice steering wheel here, nice perforated leather on it. Like I said, it is a heated steering wheel. We do have buttons for different controls up here. So we've got volume and different audio interfaces, as well as interfacing with our driver information display. Then our cruise settings and some of our safety settings we'll get into later. You do have paddle shifters here. One of the great things I liked about the Mitsubishi vehicles was their large aluminum paddle shifters that they had. This just has plastic paddle shifters. I'm sure that's a part of the Nissan. Looking at our driver display, this is a 12.3 inch full digital display, and I think it's great. You've got different pages, obviously, that you can flip through here, and basically all the information that you want. We also do have a head-up display, which is a 10.8 inch head-up display. It is colored, and it looks pretty good. We also do have the 10 speaker Bose premium sound system in this vehicle, and it sounds decent enough. Nothing to write home about, but it sounds decent in here. And again, that's probably a holdover from the Nissan. But with that, I think it is time to get this thing out on the road. Let's take it for a drive, see how it feels out on the road, and then we'll start wrapping the video up after that. All right, guys, so let's get down to it. Driving this thing it's okay. It's pretty smooth. It does have that CVT, so you're not getting jerky shifts, obviously. But at the same time, you're not really getting much power, which, depending on your driving style, why you're buying the vehicle, all that kind of factors into if you're gonna like the way that this drives or not. Again, for the full week, I've had no issues with it. It can kind of pick up power when you need it to. It's got good braking. It's got decent steering feel. Probably the worst thing I can say about it is that it feels more like driving a Nissan than a Mitsubishi. I actually like the way that a lot of the Mitsubishi, even their SUVs, drove. They're more direct. They felt a little bit sporty, like they had some of that sporty heritage, even if maybe that was in your mind. The previous generation Outlander did have a V6 option, and this one with its 181 horsepower 4-cylinder engine is decent. Road noise is low, which is good. You can hear it, but it's not bad. Exhaust, there's basically no exhaust note, which is what it is. But for day-to-day driving, again, it's smooth, it's comfortable, and it'll get you to where you want to go. Everything in here is laid out nicely. You can touch everything really well. It's good for the passenger as well as the driver. Steering wheel controls, all good. Your digital display is nice. Your head-up display is great. It's nice that a vehicle in this segment at this price point has a good head-up display. Fuel economy wise, you're looking at 24 miles per gallon city, 31 highway. So that's a decent fuel economy rating. Again, especially if you're thinking about this as a 3-row SUV, which I wouldn't necessarily do. During our time with this vehicle, I've been averaging 25.4 miles to the gallon, which is a really good average for myself. One of the really standout features about this vehicle that it borrows directly from Nissan is their safety features, which they call My Pilot or MI Pilot for Mitsubishi Pilot, as opposed to Nissan's Pro Pilot. Even the logo is basically the same, it's just green instead of blue. And you can set it, it will track the lanes, it will keep you in the lanes. You can have your radar guided that will keep you behind a vehicle. When it slows down, you slow down. When it speeds up, you speed up. And I do think that Nissan's Pro Pilot is one of the better systems out there. I've said this many times in many different reviews. I think that Hyundai, BMW, and Nissan all have really great systems outside of like Tesla. And we will jump up on the highway and test that out a bit. And then after that, we'll pull back over. We'll talk about the price and competition, and then we'll wrap up the video there. All right, let's go ahead and merge onto the highway here. We're doing about 20 4. Yeah. It doesn't feel great, it doesn't sound great accelerating, but we are getting up on the highway. Surprisingly slowed down by a Civic. All right, and to activate, we've got to hit the green button here, the My Pilot, and then we go down to set the cruise. We can adjust our speed, which we will do, like that. So you can see we got our radar guided cruise control on. We've got the green light from the My Pilot, but we do not have lanes. So this is not keeping us in the lanes. I'm not 100% sure if maybe this vehicle doesn't do it, or it's just not included at the moment. But I've tried to use this a few times, and no matter what road I'm on, it never catches the lanes, not like the Nissan does. So it's either a neutered system or it just doesn't have it completely equipped. But you do have your radar guided cruise control, which works just fine. You just don't have your lane keeping assist. But the system does give you the radars. You also have that 360 camera. So it's good for parking and backing up and things like that. You do have a lane warning if somebody's in your blind spot. But what you don't have is a lane keeping assist. All right, guys, and after driving it, let's quickly talk about the price and competition before we wrap up the rest of this review. So the Outlander has a base price of $26,095. This one, the SEL all-wheel drive, has a base of $33,745. We do have a couple of options on here that push that up to $37,995. So you're looking at close to $40,000, but you're getting a sort of 3-row crossover, nice tech in it, really nice interior, nice new look. So it's about par that you would look at for the rest of the industry. If you're looking for a 3-row crossover, though, that you're actually wanting to put some family in, I would definitely look at something else like the Nissan Pathfinder. Even the Kia Sorento, which we did a review on, has 3 rows and is around the same kind of price range and is just as nice inside and out. If you're looking at a 2-row, there are a lot of options as well, including the Hyundai Tucson and of course that Nissan Rogue, which is a nice vehicle to itself. But let me jump out, I'll give you some of my final thoughts and we'll wrap up the video there. All right, guys, so after a full week with the Outlander, it's definitely a vehicle I would recommend if you're in the market. If you're looking for a 3-row crossover, I wouldn't recommend it because, like I said, that 3rd row is basically unusable. I get it that they want to put a 3rd row in here. It's kind of what the Outlander has been, and the previous generations of Outlander haven't been any better with their 3rd row. It's great to have in a pinch, I guess, but I wouldn't want to stick anybody back there. I would basically have it down the entire time if I own this vehicle, so just get me the 2-row version, which they do make. Now, when I think about Mitsubishi, I think about 2 things. I think about the Evo, which is a iconic rally car, and then I think about their trucks and SUVs on rally tracks like Dakar and Baja. And while this has the super all-wheel control and it's got a nice Mitsubishi styling, it really doesn't feel like it fits into that kind of heritage. Of course, no vehicle that Mitsubishi makes now does, at least not that they have here in the US. So I really like how Mitsubishi and Nissan teamed up on this. Everything Nissan about this makes it just that much better. Everything Mitsubishi about it gives it its style. Definitely worth cross shopping, but if you can get one at a good price and you don't need that 3rd row and you don't really care too much about power and all of that stuff, I think it could work out. All right, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the new Outlander. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. We do a different review every week. Also, go check out TXGARAGE.com for more written reviews as well as event and news coverage over there. by a lot of great authors. And with that, thanks for watching.